Wait, I have some very special guests joining me in studio, and of course, something that we're very glad to be a part of and sponsoring is the Alzheimer's Walk coming up in October 25th. And I have Barbara here from the ALZ, Alzheimer's Association here in Williamsburg, and also President Reveley, president of William and Mary College here. And how are you both doing today?
Doing well. Thanks, Kevin.
Doing well, Kevin. The weather is absolutely glorious.
You know, it's
who would believe it?
It's this perfect temperature. It's almost refreshing when you walk outside. It's just
and very unnatural for Williamsburg at this moment.
I agree with you. So let's talk about, you had a very personal experience with Alzheimer's, touching someone very close to your family, and I'll just let you kind of take it from there as far as your personal experience with just dealing with that disease with a loved one.
Well, my personal experience with this rapacious disease involved my father, who was an extraordinary human being, significant athlete, very, very smart, really good, a leader, who about 10 years before he died began falling into the clutches of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, a really malign combination. And over time, Alzheimer's simply stripped him of who he was, and he knew it was happening to him. One night when my mother found him down in the kitchen at 4 a.m. With the stove on and came down, he looked at her and he said, "Something has died inside me." He knew it was happening to him. So it was terrible to watch what happened to him. The impact on the family was, of course, severe, because my mother never was willing to have Dad go into an institution. She took care of him at home, which was enormously difficult.
Yeah.
And then she brought him to Richmond. They lived in Lexington. One Christmas, when he was pretty far gone, but we had no expectation that he was about to die. And he, 2 weeks later, in our home in Richmond, he did die. And I think, in a way, he may have known that Mother was safe, family was around. It's okay. But I have nothing good to say about Alzheimer's.
Well, how did you find, because this is something that actually Barbara and I were talking about before, is that there's a lot of people, Alzheimer's is one of those things that most everyone knows someone or someone close to them that suffered from it. And something that I always like to ask is, as far as, is there any bit of wisdom that comes to your mind in regards to how your family found, as far as coping with this, or as far as just experience-wise, was there some things that came out through that experience of just learning how to manage a horrific circumstance?
Well, I think perhaps two major lessons learned for the Reveleys. One was, when you are coping with it, it is going to be awful.
Yeah. Simply
awful. And that whoever is the primary caregiver needs help and needs a break. That's number one. In other words, it's just going to be a very, very grim pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Number two, it really is true that as time passes after death, you do begin to remember the person as they were, not as they had become during that awful pilgrimage, because they had become something really alien to themselves, and they require an awful lot of care of the most elemental sort that you just never thought you would be giving your father.
You know, it's interesting you should say that, because I found the same thing, that like with my mother, she was sick for a very long time, and it's a completely different person, but as time goes on, you do remember, you remember less the sickness and remember the person more.
Yeah, and the sickness recedes,
yeah,
and the person returns, and that's a great blessing.
Yeah,
and it's something that I think should be a real comfort to people who are caught up in the grim pilgrimage, that yes, it's going to be grim.
Mm-hmm.
Any way you chew it, it's going to be grim, but it will end.
Yeah.
And then for a while, you will not remember the person as they were. You will remember what they had become. But then you will see what they had been rise anew. And that's quite wonderful.
Yeah. No, I think that's some great wisdom, and thank you so much, President Reveley, for being here. And of course, you're also going to be speaking at the Walk to End Alzheimer's coming up October 25th, and I look forward to participating in that with you as well.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for talking about Alzheimer's on the air.
Oh, hey, thank you once again for coming in, President Reveley, President of William and Mary College, and Barbara from Alzheimer's Association. Thank you so much. Can I get a goodbye out of Barbara?
Thanks, Kevin. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much.